Hello learners, we've come to another session of your English class, okay? Last time we saw to a poetry and now we're going to go to a lesson, okay? And this lesson is from your Moments book and it is the last lesson, okay? We're going to go to the last lesson from back. We're going to come from there. And before I get started, I just want to ask you a question. Do you have a habit of helping someone? Yeah, if you do have, that's great, fine. But if you do not have, please try to develop that value of giving, okay, charity. Who do you think you give? To the people who are in need of, isn't it? Yeah, now I think most of you have come across beggars on the streets, those who beg, isn't it? So you must have come. I'm relating you to that topic, that is the beggar. Before we could start, I just want to give you a brief background of the author. You know who the author is? The author is Anton Chekhov. Okay, Anton Chekhov, and he is a Russian writer from a peasant ancestry. Peasant means who? A poor family. Okay, but you know what he has studied? He studied medicine at Moscow University and he has become a physician in the year 1884. Okay, and he is recognized as a master of short story and leading playwright of the late 19th and early 20th century. So he is recognized as the master of short story and leading playwright also. And you know this poem, that is the beggar, is taken from his collections. That is, the complete short story collection. So it is taken from that. So let me introduce the lesson like this. It's a story about an encounter. Okay, it's a story about an encounter between an alcoholic beggar. Alcoholic means what? The one who drinks, is into this drugs and alcohol consumption, So it's an encounter between. Encounter means it's a meeting between whom? Between an alcoholic beggar and a very beloved advocate. Advocate, who an advocate is? A lawyer. Okay. So this results in the advocate in giving him, giving the beggar. He meets him and he provides this beggar a job. What does he do? He provides this beggar with a job. So let's see if this beggar takes up the job in a right way and whether he tries to change or mend his ways. Mend means what? Try to change his ways, because a very precious thing has been done to him. Somebody has helped him in giving what? In giving him a job, though he was a beggar. So it's an encounter between an advocate, and the advocate is called Sergei and the beggar is Lashkov. Lashkov is the beggar. These are the characters. The beggar is Lashkov and the advocate is Sergei. And there's another character also in the story called Olga. Olga is a maid in Sergei's house. So we're going to see to this beautiful chapter. Let's see whether the beggar turns to be right, because he's offered with a job by whom? By Sergei. So are you ready to get into the chapter? That is the beggar. I'll be reading the lesson line by line. And then I will give you an explanation or a brief explanation of each paragraph. Okay, children? I think you are ready with it, isn't it? Yes. Let's go on with the first page. That is page number 62. Okay? Are you ready? Yes.
The beggar. Kind sir, have pity. Turn your attention to a poor hungry man. For 3 days I have had nothing to eat. I haven't 5 kopecks for a lodging. I swear it before God. For 8 years I was a village school teacher, and then I lost my place through intrigues. I fell a victim to calumny. It is a year now since I have had anything to do. The advocate Sergey looked at the ragged, fawn-colored overcoat of the suppliant, at his dull, drunken eyes, at the red spot on either cheek, and it seemed to him as if he had seen this man somewhere before. I have now had an offer of a position in the province of Kaluga, the mendicant went on, but I haven't the money to get there. Help me quickly. I am ashamed to ask, but I am obliged to by circumstances. Sergey's eyes fell on the man's overshoes, one of which was high and the other low. He suddenly remembered something. Look here, it seems to me, I met you the day before yesterday in Sadovia Street, he said. But you told me then you were a student. You had been expelled and not a village school teacher. Do you remember? No, that can't be so, mumbled the beggar, taken aback. I am a village school teacher, and if you like, I can show you my papers. Have done with liking. You called yourself a student and even told me what you have been expelled for. Don't you remember? Sergey flushed and turned from the ragged creature with an expression of disgust. Okay, let me explain now. A man was begging alms, alms means he was begging help. He was asking for help from somebody. And he said he had not eaten. That's what I told you, Lashkov. Lashkov is the man, the beggar. So he was begging, and last 3 days he had not eaten, it seems. And he also says that he had not even 5 kopecks to pay for a room. Kopecks means it's a Russian coin that he means. So he had no money at all to spend the night in a hotel room. And he promises to the advocate, that is Sergey. He says, I'm telling you the truth, and I've been a school teacher in a village for 8 years, it seems. He was a school teacher where? In a village for how many years? For 8 years. And he lost his job because of some conspiracy. Conspiracy means a secret plan. That's what he says. Intrigues. Through intrigues, he fell a victim, it seems. That means he lost his job due to some secret plans that was made by the colleagues of his colleagues. So that's how he lost the colleagues actually, the friends actually, what they did, they planned against him, and they were the ones who were the cause for him to lose his job. So for the last 1 year he was without work, it seems. Now the meanings over here in the first paragraph is kopecks. Kopecks means it's the Russian coin. Intrigues means make secret plans. Calumny is to make false statements to spoil somebody's name. Sometimes, to spoil somebody's name, we make false statements. We tell something, actually, whatever is not true, we talk about them. No? So that kind, spoiling the reputation, that is the name, is called calumny. Okay. So that's what he says in the first chapter, that he has not, the first paragraph, that he has not eaten for days. Now this advocate, his name is Sergey, I told you. He looks into his eyes and he saw the brown colored coat of the beggar. The beggar, he sees, he's having a look at the beggar. And then the beggar looked very dull, and he was drunken also. Drunken, I told you that he was a drunkard, an alcoholic person. So he was drunk, and his eyes were also seen drunk. Okay. And there were red spots, it seems, on both his cheeks. And Sergei felt that he had seen this man somewhere. So he could recognize this man, and he has seen him somewhere. Let's see what happened next. "This is dishonesty, my dear sir," he cried angrily. "This is swindling. I shall send the police for you. Damn you!" "Sir," he said, laying his hand on his heart, "the fact is, I was lying. I am neither a student nor a school teacher. All that was fiction. Formerly, I sang in a Russian choir and was sent away for drunkenness. But what else can I do? I can't get along without lying. No one will give me anything when I tell the truth. What can I do?" "What can you do? You ask what you can do," cried Sergei, coming close to him. "Work. That's what you can do. You must work." "Work? Yes, I know that myself. But where can I find work? How would you like to chop wood for me?" "I wouldn't refuse to do that. But in these days, even skilled woodcutters find themselves sitting without bread." "Will you come and chop wood for me?" "Yes, sir, I will." "Very well, we'll soon find out." Sergei hastened along, rubbing his hands. He called his cook out of the kitchen. "Here, Olga," he said, "take this gentleman into the woodshed and let him chop wood." The scarecrow of a beggar shrugged his shoulders as if in perplexity and went irresolutely after the cook. It was obvious from his gait that he had not consented to go and chop wood because he was angry and wanted work, but simply from pride and shame, and because he had been trapped by his own words. It was obvious too that his strength had been undermined by vodka, and that he was unhealthy and did not feel the slightest inclination for toil. Sergei hurried into the dining room. From its windows, one could see the woodshed and everything that went on in the yard. Standing at the window, Sergei saw the cook and the beggar come out into the yard by the back door and make their way across the dirty snow to the shed. Olga glared wrathfully at her companion, shoved him aside with her elbow, unlocked the shed, and angrily banged the door. "This is swindling," he says. "You're a cheat, and I am going to call the police and send you to the police. Damn you!" He calls him. He scolds the beggar, And then the beggar confessed. He's saying, "See, sir, I am lying, I know. But he was neither a teacher nor a student. I'm a singer in a Russian group. And because I've got this drinking habits, I was removed from the, from the group, from the Russian singing group. And he lied because people will not believe him. If he doesn't lie, if he tells the truth, people will not believe him. So he wants something, some kind of a help. So what does he say? He has to lie. He confessed. And then what Sergei does, he says, "Okay, can you work with me? Can you chop wood for me?" he says. So he was actually hesitant, but the beggar takes up the job. He says, "Okay, I can do it." But nowadays even skilled woodcutters also do not have work. They are not employed. But Sergei offered him a job. He said, "Come, I will give you a job," and he takes him. And he calls the cook, that is Olga. Olga is the cook in Sergei's house, and he says Olga to take this gentleman to the woodshed and ask him to chop wood. Okay, and now this man, he looks like a scarecrow. Scarecrow means what? In the Solakattu Bomman solrangala, his dress was like that. So he looked like a scarecrow, and with reluctance. Reluctance means he's not very happy with the job, but still, because he told a lie to whom? To Sergei, and he had to go to work. because Sergei was angry with him, and so he had to take up the job. Okay, and, he goes. He has no. He feels very. What to tell you? Very. He's not very energetic in doing the job of chopping the wood, and he doesn't like to toil also. Toil means he doesn't like to do hard work also. Now Sergei goes to the dining room, and from there, when he looks through the window, he could see the woodshed and the yard, and he saw the cook and the beggar in the yard. So they walk to the shed, and the cook, what she does? She stares at him. This cook is also very angry on the beggar. She stared at the beggar. She pushed him. Shoved him means she pushed him with her elbow. And what did she do? She angrily banged the door. Banged the door means she shut the door. And let's continue. And let's see what happens next. Next, he saw the pseudo teacher seat himself on a log and become lost in thought, with his red cheeks resting on his fist. The woman flung down an axe at his feet, spat angrily, and judging from the expression of her lips, began to scold him. The beggar irresolutely pulled a billet of wood towards him, set it up between his feet, and tapped it feebly with the axe. The billet wavered and fell down. The beggar again pulled it to him, blew on his freezing hands, and tapped it with his axe cautiously, as if afraid of hitting his overshoe or of cutting off his finger. The stick of wood again fell to the ground. Sergei's anger had vanished, and he now began to feel a little sorry and ashamed of himself for having set a spoiled, drunken, perhaps sick man to work at menial labor in the cold. An hour later, Olga came in and announced that the wood had all been chopped. "Good, give him half a ruble," said Sergei. If he wants to, he can come back and cut wood on the first day of every month. We can always find work for him. On the first of the month, the waif made his appearance and again earned half a ruble, though he could barely stand on his legs. From that day on, he often appeared in the yard, and every time work was found for him. On the first of the month, the waif made his appearance and again earned half a ruble, though he could barely stand on his legs. From that day on, he often appeared in the yard, and every time work was found for him. Now he would shovel snow, now put the woodshed in order, now beat the dust out of rugs and mattresses. Every time he received from 20 to 40 kopecks, and once even a pair of old trousers were sent out to him. Now Sergei sees the pseudo teacher. Pseudo teacher is the person who lied, isn't it? A false teacher, you can say. He was sitting on a log of wood. Log of wood means what? On a piece of wood. And what was he doing? He was just dreaming with his cheeks resting on his fists. Okay. And then Olga saw him dreaming, and she throws an axe towards him. And what happened? The beggar now pulled the piece of wood towards him, placed it in between his feet, and hit it feebly. Feebly means very weakly with the axe. Now the wood shook and fell, because he has no experience in chopping wood, so it fell. He again pulled it, and then he warms his hands, and blows his hands like this, and then again puts the wood and tries to chop it. He was very careful not to hit his shoes or cut his finger. Now again the wood fell. So this is what was happening. And all this was watched by whom? By Sergei. Now Sergei was not angry at the beggar any longer, He felt sorry and ashamed of himself to put the man at hard work in such cold condition, despite the fact that he was not fit enough to do it. He knew that he was not fit enough to do it, but despite that, he put him in this work, that is chopping of wood. What happened was he saw that and he felt very sorry for him. But after an hour, Olga comes in. She comes to Sergei and she told that all the pieces of wood had been chopped. Sergei was very glad. He said, okay, fine, then just give him half a ruble, pay him the money, he says. And he also said Olga to call him if he wants to come and work on the first day of every month to cut wood. He can come and do some work so that he can earn some money. So this is how the beggar, what he did. He started to turn up every month, every first of the month, and he got half a ruble. But he was heavily drunk. Whenever he comes, he was totally drunk. And what all the other work he could do was, he used to do various jobs like shoveling the snow. Shoveling means it's like a spade, you can take the snow like a spade, a tool like a spade. And then he cleansed the shed. He put the wood he arranged the wood correctly, and then he beat the rugs. And he cleaned the rugs. Rugs means the doormats, that dust was taken from it. Okay, and then he earned how much? He earned around 20 to 40 kopecks for it. So once Sergei gave him a pair of trousers also, it seems. Even trousers means what? It's a pant. Okay, so trousers were also given to whom? Given to the beggar. When Sergei moved into another house, he hired him to help in the packing and hauling of the furniture. This time the waif was sober, gloomy and silent. He hardly touched the furniture and walked behind the wagons, hanging his head, not even making a pretense of appearing busy. He only shivered in the cold and became embarrassed when the carters jeered at him for his idleness, his feebleness, and his tattered fancy overcoat. After the moving was over, Sergei sent for him. Well, I am happy that my words have taken effect, he said, handing him a ruble. Here's for your pains. I see you are sober and have no objection to work. What's your name? Lashkov. Well, Lashkov, I can now offer you some other cleaner employment. Can you write? I can. Then take this letter to a friend of mine tomorrow, and you will be given some copying to do. Work hard, don't drink, and remember what I have said to you. Goodbye. Pleased at having put a man on the right path, Sergei tapped Lashkov kindly on the shoulder and even gave him his hand at parting. Lashkov took the letter and from that day forth came no more to the yard for work. 2 years went by. Then one evening, as Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theatre paying for his seat, he noticed a little man beside him with a coat collar of curly fur and a worn sealskin cap. This little individual timidly asked the ticket seller for a seat in the gallery and paid for it in copper coins. Lashkov, is that you? Cried Sergei, recognizing in the little man his former wood chopper. How are you? What are you doing? How's everything with you? All right, I am a notary now and I am paid 35 rubles a month. Here in this paragraph, Sergei is shifting his house. Now he has hired the beggar. He called the beggar for moving the articles like the furniture and all to help him. Okay. So he comes. Who? The beggar. And he was very sad and he remained very quiet also. Who? The beggar. Okay. And he never even touched a furniture. He simply pretended, he just was walking behind the wagons. Wagons means what? The vans that carry the things. Okay. So the furniture was carried in the vans, and he was just following those wagons with his head hanging down. And he pretended to be very busy. Pretended means to show something which actually does not exist. Okay, hauling means transporting the furniture. So he was hired for that. Hired means he was called for that, to help Sergei. And what he did? He just kept quiet. He never even touched the furniture. That's what I told you. And he was shivering due to the cold weather. And he was very embarrassed also. Embarrassed means he felt very embarrassed. Embarrassed means felt very shy. Okay, because the other carters means the workers, they jeered at him. Jeered at him means they made fun of him for being very idle. Idle means he was jobless, right? So he was very idle. So these people, the other workers, are making fun of him. Because he was weak, and they laughed at his coat, the torn overcoat. He had a torn overcoat. They laughed at him. And when the work was completed, Sergei calls him. He says, I'm very happy to see a change in the beggar because of his scoldings. He says, oh, I can see a change in you. And he gave a ruble for his work. And he said, have you left drinking? Have you stopped drinking? He asked. And what is your name? He asks. Only then he says, he is revealing his name, What is the beggar's name? The beggar's name is Lashkov. Okay, so he says Lashkov. So what does he do? This person is actually feeling very sad for the beggar, isn't it? So what he says? He says, I'll give you a cleaner job, another cleaner employment, another thing to do, another job to do. I will offer you. I just want to know if you can write. Can you write? He's asking. The beggar says, yes, I can. So immediately what does he do? He gives him a letter and he says, go to my friend. There's a friend of mine. You can go to him tomorrow and you give him. And he will ask you, or he will give you some copying work to do. Copying, okay, writing work to do. Work hard. Don't drink over there. And remember what I have said. And he says, what I have said, and he says goodbye to him. Okay, so he goes. The beggar goes, leaving him. Now Sergei is very happy that he has reformed a man. Reformed means he has set that person right. Okay, reformed means changed a person. So what does he do? He just taps him on his shoulder. He shook hands with him. He gave the letter and he went away. Who went away? Lashkov went away. And then after 2 years, they meet again. So they meet where, they are standing at a ticket counter in a theatre. And both of them meet over there. In a theatre, this man is who Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theatre and he was buying the ticket. And he saw Lashkov standing next to him. He was very well dressed. He wore a nice coat. He wore a coat with a collar made of fur. Fur means this animal hair, that one. And with a seal skin cap he had. And he was a bit shy as he asked for the ticket. He was timidly asking. Timidly means he was a bit shy in asking the ticket. And immediately Sergei recognizes Lashkov. And he says, oh, Lashkov, is that you? He says, how are you? And what are you doing? How's everything with you? He asks. So now Lashkov says that he is a notary. Notary means who? He's all right and he's a notary and he is being paid how much? Around 35 rubles a month it seems. So notary is a person, he's authorized, he's given the authority to perform certain legal formalities. Legal formalities like writing the documents and then contracts, deeds, documents, all this for the court work, the jurisdictions for use in the other jurisdictions, that is the court work. All these documents are being Sergei now is shifting his house and he is now packing and hauling the furniture. He has to, he needs help from somebody, you know. So he hires a person, that is the beggar, he calls him, to help him to shift or to transport the furniture. But you know what happens? Sergei comes, he was very sober. Sober means what? He was very sad looking. He remained very quiet and he hardly touched the furniture. Hardly touched the furniture means he did not like to even move the furniture, and he was simply walking behind the wagons. Wagons means the vans that carry the articles, you know, that carry the things. He was just walking behind that. He was putting his head low. He was hanging his head and he pretended to be very busy. Pretended means actually to show something which actually does not exist. So he's pretending, he's acting as if he's not being busy. And he was shivering also because of the cold weather, and he was a bit embarrassed. Embarrassed means what? Feeling ashamed. Why? Because the carters, you know, the carters means the workers, the other workers, they jeered at him. Jeered at him means they made fun of him because he was very idle, quiet, you know. So they laughed at him, and they saw his torn overcoat. They laughed at him, and so he was very sad. All this was seen by whom? By Sergei. Now he calls him. After he completes all the work, Sergei calls him and he says, I'm very happy that I have seen a change in the beggar. You have changed because of my scoldings. And he gave him a ruble, and you know, for his labor, for his work. And he asked him, what is his name? And he also asked him if he had left drinking. Only now this beggar reveals his name. He says, my name is Lashkov. Okay. So he says, well, Lashkov, can I offer you some other job? Are you interested in doing something else? A cleaner employment? He asks. Cleaner employment means another job. Can you write? He asks. So Lashkov says, yes, I can. So what does he do? He immediately gives him a letter and he says, you can go to one of my friends, you can meet one of my friend and give this letter to him so that he can give you some copying job to do. So he takes the letter and he moves. He leaves that place. What does he do? He says bye to him. Sergei says bye to him and he is very happy that he has reformed a man. Reformed means he has changed a man. Sergei is very happy. And he taps on his shoulder and he says bye to him. He shook his hands with him and he sends him away. And what happened 2 years later, one evening, Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theatre. Okay, there he was buying a ticket and he saw Lashkov standing next to him. He was very well dressed. He was smart looking. He had a coat and the collar was made of fur. Fur means what? Animal hair, no? Fur. And he wore a cap made of seal skin. But he was a little bit shy. He timidly was buying the ticket. Timidly means he was shy a little bit when he asked for the ticket. Who? The beggar. Immediately Sergei recognizes him. Recognizes whom? Recognizes Lashkov. And he says, hi Lashkov, is that you? How are you? And what are you doing? How's everything with you? Yeah, Lashkov, he says, I'm all right. I'm a notary now and I'm paid around 35 rubles a month, he says. You know who a notary is? He is a person who is authorized to perform certain legal formalities. Okay, legal formalities like documents writing, and then contracts, deeds, okay, all this other documents for the use of these in the jurisdictions, in the other jurisdictions, okay, in the other courts, court work you can say, okay. So he was a notary and he was paid how much? He was paid 35 rubles a month, it seems. He was very happy. Okay, let's see next one. Thank heaven, that's fine. I'm delighted for your sake. I am very, very glad, Lashkov. You see, you are my godson in a sense. I gave you a push along the right path, you know. Do you remember what a roasting I gave you? I nearly had you sinking into the ground at my feet that day. I'm sorry. Thank you, old man, for not forgetting my words. Thank you too, said Lashkov. If I hadn't come to you, then I might still have been calling myself a teacher or a student to this day. Yes, by flying to your protection, I dragged myself out of a pit. I am very glad indeed. Thank you for your kind words and deeds. I am very grateful to you and to your cook. God bless that good and noble woman. You spoke finely then, and I shall be indebted to you to my dying day. But strictly speaking, it was your cook Olga who saved me. How's that? When I used to come to your house to chop wood, she used to begin, "Oh, you sot, you! Oh, you miserable creature! There's nothing for you but ruin." And then she would sit down opposite me and grow sad, looking into my face and weep. "Oh, you unlucky man! There is no pleasure for you in this world, and there will be none in the world to come. You drunkard! You will burn in hell. Oh, you unlucky one!" And so she would carry on, in that strain. I can't tell you how much misery she suffered, how many tears she shed for my sake. But the chief thing was, she used to chop the wood for me. Do you know, sir, that I did not chop one single stick of wood for you? She did it all. Why this saved me, why I changed, why I stopped drinking at the sight of her, I cannot explain. I only know that, owing to her words and noble deeds, a change took place in my heart. She set me right, and I shall never forget it. However, it is time to go now. There goes the bell. Lashkov bowed and departed to the gallery. Sergei was very glad, and he thanked God for reforming the beggar. He thanked God that he has changed the beggar. Reforming means change the beggar. And he said that he considered Lashkov to be his godson. Godson means a boy or a man, whom one promises to bring up. So he is called a godson. So he's taken Lashkov to be his godson. And he said, I gave you a nice roasting one day. Roasting means what? Scolding one day. And that's how you have changed, isn't it? That's what he says. And that day when I scolded you, you held my legs and you asked for mercy. You cried for mercy. And see, my words have changed you. So he was very glad that Lashkov did not forget his words. Now Lashkov also thanked him, and he said, "Yes, if I wouldn't have met you that day, what would have happened? I would have been in the same pit." Pit means what? Begging. That is the pit he calls. Pit means adhe kulikulla irundirpen. I would have still been lying, and I would have been begging all these days. So you were very kind. I am very thankful. But I should be thankful to your cook. Because she is a noble woman, and she is the real one who saved my life, and she is the one who reformed me, he says. Sir Sergei, he was shocked. He said, how's that? So she says, Lashkov says, I came to chop wood in your house, you called me. But Olga used to scold me every day. She used to scold me. She used to say, "Oh, you sot." Sot means a habitual drunkard. See, there's a twist in the story now. So she calls him a sot. Sot means a habitual drunkard. And she used to scold him so much. She always says that you are ruining your life. You're spoiling your life, man. Why do you do that? Stop drinking, she used to say. And suddenly after some time she grew sad, and she started to weep, seeing his face. Weep means what? She started to cry. And she always used to say that if you are a drunkard like this, you're going to burn in hell, and you're a very unhappy one, unlucky one. Don't be that. So she suffered misery. Misery means she really had the pain for me. he says. So that's how she has changed his life. Okay, so that's the twist that comes in the story. And one more thing he says is, not only she shed tears for me, what she used to do is, whenever I came, she used to chop wood for me. She was the one who chopped wood for me. She scolded me, she wept, and all the work what I had to do was done by whom? By the cook, that is Olga. And her behavior changed him, he says. See what a wonderful thing that this lady has done. She has changed him, she has helped him. Though Sergei brought him to his house, who was the actual person who has changed Lashkov is Olga the cook. Okay, so I think the story ends with this, and both of them depart. Lashkov bowed and he departed to the gallery. It's a beautiful story with lot of vocabulary in it, many new words been found, and I've given you the meanings of all the words, children. Make use of all that, and I just want you to write a few lines. It's just like a homework that I will give you. Just write a few lines about how can we help beggars or abolish begging. Will you do that? Yeah, how can we help beggars or abolish begging? I just want a few lines on it. So please be prepared. Thank you very much, children. God bless.